Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. So we'll start with the DAX again. We've got this WXY looking for the A, B, C in the X before we get that Z down. Pretty much like I've been saying for quite some time now. Last week, I wasn't quite sure if this had finished, this B wave. I was saying that this low here can be broken in a B wave. Looks like we've come to an end. We're just about to cross up on the MACD. H4. We got this trend line break. So yeah, look for the buys up to this 100 fib, and yeah, then look for that Z down. AU, like I've been saying for a while, I'm looking for this retrace down to the 50 fib. May not get to the 50 fib, but I'm looking at all this will be a correction. This can take a long time to give us this correction, so it's going to be very choppy, and this goes for all the crosses, pretty much all the USD crosses. So if we look here, we can sort of see we got a move down, one up, down, so we may get one up here before we get another like A, B, C before we go up, or it can become more complex. It can become like a W, X, Y, X, Z. We don't know yet. I'm looking at all this as corrective though, so it's going to be quite choppy. It's going to be hard to trade for the next, well, it could be a couple of years. So yeah, take that into consideration when you're trading. So on here, H4, there's a couple of different ways this can play, because we have three here. We have 1, 2, 3, then we have a 1, 2, 3, then we have a 1, 2, 3. Now in Elliott wave we get a 3, 3, 5 pattern. So is this going to be a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go up and finish off that B wave, the daily B wave? Or we can, I can't rule out this here, because this low here only just got broken here in 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. So that's why I'm sort of, I can't rule out this as a larger correction in here for a B, C before we get another A, B, C. So there's a couple of different scenarios here. You can pretty much look for the long and the short, but at this stage I'm sort of going with that 5 wave structure here. So I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like I said, I can't rule out that we get a spike up here and we go down. We do have the US elections as well this week, so we, you know, it's going to be difficult to trade. We could get a big spike in either direction. No one knows what the market's going to do. We just look at structures and trade in the direction of those structures that we think are possible. So that's pretty much it on AU. If we go down to the H1, we got 5 down here, a larger correction, and we're getting it. This can be, this is looking like a flag for more, well, it's actually a correction, but you might want to, trying to change this trend line. So we've got a little trend line. We've got a correction. So, you know, if you do get a break, little flag, you can look to sell. This still can be on the H4. We do have, it's a little bit risky because we do have that bullish divergence here. But that can disappear if this turns into a wave Y or a wave 3. Like most people look at it like a 1, 2. This can keep on going down for a wave 3, and we'll lose that divergence on the MACD. So if you get a sell set up, you can look for the sell. If you get a buy set up, or you can look for that buy. For the buy setup, you really need a nice impulse up, the correction, and a buy. Something to buy. EU daily. So we've got one up. Looking at this as a correction, so we get an A, B, C in here. A, B, C before we get any more upside. Ideally, I'd like to see the 50 fib like most of the USD crosses, looking for that 50 fib retrace. 50 fib retrace, price doesn't necessarily have to get there, but if it gets to the 50, it's going to give us that good risk reward. So we're looking for more downside. Okay, we got that WXY bounced off this trend line, bounced off the 100 fib, sorry, and yeah, so now we're getting this. It's probably too late to get into the sell now. I mean, you still can, if you get a nice correction in here or something, you can look for that sell down to the 100 fib. You'll have to be careful once you get down to this 100 fib. See if you got divergence and all the rest of it. GU daily. So I've been looking at this for a long time. So I'm just looking for an A, B, C in here to finish off that X before we get that Z up on the daily. H4, it's been very messy, like I've been saying for weeks now. We don't know if this is over. We do have a trend line break in here now. So ideally, we do get more downside down to that 100 fib. On H1, you are getting a correction here. So you are getting a correction in here. If you get that break, little flag, correction, look for the sell. Down to the target, down to the H4 target, that 100 fib. We'll probably adjust this to this level here. So we're looking for that C down, finish off the X on the daily. NU, the daily, we got that Z up. Now we're looking for the larger correction, A, B, C. Like I said, it can turn into anything. We don't know what sort of correction it's going to be. It can be a WXY, XZ. There's a number of different structures that can be in here in the correction. But we are looking for that larger correction before we get to A, B, C. So it's going to be difficult to trade when in correction. Pretty much like last week, looking for that A, B, C, finish off this B wave, maybe getting a sell set up in here. yeah. So you can look for this. We got a correction here. Look for your flag. Look for your flag in here. And then look for the sell. UY, daily, like I've been saying for ages, we do have that possibility of the bear hidden divergence in here. So this low may get broken. This one here, it didn't give us that cross on the MACD, so it makes it difficult. H4, we broke. We did get this wave down. It hasn't broken this low here yet. It has broken the low of wave Y. That's all wave Z has to do technically, is break the low of wave Y. Now we have done that. Is this over? If we go down to the lower time frames, I don't know why I've got double lines here. Oh, I'll just leave it. So if we look at H4, we got a WX, Y. I'm looking for that X and then the Z down. So I don't think it is over. I think we're in an X2 and we'll get that Z down on H4. H1, look for the sells. This can be a flat in here. This may be a flat in here for more downside. So yeah, you can look. It's going to be difficult to trade this, but yeah, if you get a sharp move down on the lower time frames, little flag, you can look for the sell. This, I think we're going to be in a chop because this isn't on H4. This correction isn't large enough yet. We've got a correction here. We're looking for a correction here. So there's still a time factor before we get that Z down. So it could be choppy. It can turn into any sort of structure in here before we get that Z down. So you'll have to be careful if you're trading that Z down. Wait for the correction to be over. Get the confirmation of a setup before you trade. USDJPY D1. Looking for this. This one never broke the low either. They come close to breaking the low for that Z down. Now, if the wave Y ended here and all this is correction here, well, technically, like I said on that other cross, all that has to happen is that wave Y get broken. Now, it has done that. And we have to realize that on this, on USDCHY, we got an extended wave Y here. So sometimes when we get these extended waves, we don't get that break of the low in the wave Z. So you have to take that into consideration. Is this over? We don't really know. There is no confirmation on the daily that it is over. So if you go down to the H4, we don't have any bullish divergence. And we have a higher high on price. So I'd be more inclined to buy. We did get a nice buy setup during the week. I'm in a buy down here somewhere. But we did get a nice flag in here. That would have been a nice, we got the trend line break, nice flag in there. That would have been a nice buy. Looks like more upside. I'd be more inclined to buy this. wait for the setup, wait for something like this down, then buy above the top. If you get triggered with a buy stop, well, then your stop losses wherever this A, B, C ends, and look for, you know, more upside. So we got a W, some sort of a, this is sharp. So we're sort of looking at this as the correction. So we got a W X. This isn't over. This can become internal. So we don't know yet. Or it can become this is the wave Y and this is the wave X before we get the Z up. Or this can be the W X and this is the end of wave Y up here before we get that X2, before we get the Z up. So we have to see if this becomes internal. So pretty much you can only scalp at this stage in this wave Y before we get, unless we get that larger correction like this. Get that larger correction like this here, or then you can look for that Z up. Or else it's just going to be a scalp. UCAD daily. So again, like most of the crosses, we're looking for that 50 fib retrace on the daily. We do have a B, C in here. Well, an A, B, and we're getting that C up. It can turn into a motive pattern or a W, X, Y, X, Z. We don't know what sort of structure we're going to get in here. The UCAD loves to give long drawn out corrections. So we can't rule out like this here. It's going to work, but if we look over here, we got a nice impulse down. Over here, we got a nice impulse down. Then we got all this. So what's to say that we don't get that over here? It may turn very, very complex over here. We just don't know. But we have to take into consideration that we may get something like this. But then again, this has bull hidden divergence. This low wasn't broken over here. So we do have that possible bull hidden. So the top may get, we can't rule out that this top gets broken. I'd like to see at least get to 50. And it could go higher and it may even get up to the top. We just don't know. H4, we're getting that ABC like I showed. So I think you might be getting a buy set up in here. H1, we got a wave Y. So we got a WXY. This doesn't look complete. Needs to be a larger correction in here before we get that Z up. To finish off, more than likely we will go and break this top, this wave A top, and then we'll assess the situation, see what we're going to get. If it continues on up to the 161.8 or just gets to the 100 fib here, we'll have to see what we get. Ideally we get to this 100 fib, and if it gives us a sell set up here, well, we can look for those sells. GY daily. So looking for that C up, like I was showing on that trade view, but it started to come more complex in here. Now I'm looking for, I should remove all this. So at this stage, I'm just looking for that. This is very choppy like GU. GU. It's very choppy. So I'm looking at it as this is the impulse, and A. This may come more complex and give us a W, X, Y, X, and a Z down to finish off this B wave, or it could go from here. Sort of more inclined. I don't think it's over. If we have a look at the H1, this can be a flat in here. Like we can get like an A, B, C. So this is sort of looking like a flat. If we get a flag in, you can look. If you get a bull flag in here, you can look for the buy. But I'd be more inclined to wait for an impulse down and then a little flag in here to look for the sell. Yeah. This doesn't look complete. This is looking like a flat in here. So you have to be very careful. Gold, daily, like I've been showing, I should show the weekly again. Like I've been saying on the weekly, if we're going to get this, we're in this, we're going to get a correction similar size. I'm looking for a correction similar size to this over here. So we're going to be in that correction for a very long time, a few years. So if we go down to the daily, there's nothing really on the daily. We're just in some sort of a correction in here. Now, what's made this difficult, like I've been saying, is this contracting flat in here. There's so many different patterns this can be in here. But at this stage, it does look like we're getting a bear flag on the H1. So we got a W, X, Y. We're looking for an X here and then the Z down. I'll be more inclined to look for that Z down. I think we do have, yeah, we do have bear hidden divergence there. So this low here more than likely will be broken after this is complete. This can be an A, B, C, and then the A, B, C in here. It can be complete, this here. So if you do get a sell set up on this, you can take that. Go and break this low. If this is the high of the wave X, here will be your target. So this will be a first and second target here, your 123.6 and the 161.8 as your targets for wave Z. So if you get a little break in here of this trend line, little flag in here, look for that sell. WTI. So again, I'd like to see that 50 fib retrace. This one here, we do have this bear hidden divergence, I've been saying. So this low, it's not out of the question that this low gets broken. On the W1, we have a wave Y. So we're looking for an A, B, C in a wave X before we get that Z down. Because wave Y was so extended and come right down, you know, $10 level or even lower, I think if we do get the Z down, it's just gonna test this bottom here, maybe break it and then shoot straight back up. But in here, we're nearly at the 100 fib here by the look of it. Ideally we get to this 50 fib, but Don't always get there. Sometimes it's deeper. That's what I show in my course. What the different levels mean. There are meanings to what different levels and what structures they become at what levels, fib levels. So here we're getting bullish divergence. We're nearly at this 100 fib here. If you do get a flag in here, you can look for the sell, even though we do have bearish divergence. You can look for that sell because this still can turn into like a W, X, Y, X, Z. So can't rule that out. At this stage, we do have that bullish divergence. H1, I don't think we've got any. Yeah, see, this isn't complete in here. This doesn't look complete. Looks like we need, this was sharp and this was sharp. So we got, I'll just spread the chart out a bit more. So we got an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. It can become more complex before we get that cell set up. So we just have to watch that. I'll be more inclined, because where we are, I'll be more inclined to wait and wait for the buys, wait for all this to be over. Wait for all this correction to be over and look for that buy. You know, that's going to be a good buy for the largest C up. Because we've already broken that low with divergence now, so you have to be careful looking for the sells. Even though this low here may get broken with that bare hidden divergence, you know, you should be in already, you know, up here for that to break that low. You should be at break even. Bitcoin's interesting. The weekly has hit the target. The weekly has hit this, looking for the B wave top to be broken. This was an idea I put out on the weekly. I'll go to that now. So this was the idea here. You can see I put one out here. I might as well go through all of them. So this was my first weekly Bitcoin idea. So we'll go and have a look at that. So here, all I was looking for, Bitcoin W1 basic Elliott wave ABC correction. And this is what I was looking at back then. I was even looking for this up here and then another one down before we get more upside. I mean, this is back in April 2019. So we got an A, we got an A, B, C to finish off that B wave. Then we get the A, B, C down. We're going to break this low here. But on this idea here, I'm just looking for D1 wave C running or expanding flat. You don't know if it's going to be a running or expanding flat. So ideally, I'd like to see at least get to this 100 fib. But yeah, if it's expanding, well, you know, you can go up to the 200 fib like it actually did. So if we click play here, so it went up close to the 200 fib. So that was the first trade going up. And then there was the sell up here. So the larger C down. So I'm looking for this C down. I'm looking for the low of wave A to be broken to complete the structure. So I'm just looking for this wave A low to be broken. So we got that. We got the break of the low over here. And then we got that wave up, which is that last idea, which is this one here. This one here, I was sort of looking for like this A B, C, like this A, B, C here to go and break the low. High, sorry. But what we got was it just shot up virtually as soon as I put this idea out. It shot up. It took off from up here. So if I just press play here, so I'm looking for wave B top to be broken. So I'm looking for this wave B top to be broken. Okay, so now if we go back to the chart, so now what am I looking for? I'll remove all this. I'm looking for a 50 fib retrace. So here's our 50 fib. We don't know what sort of correction we're going to get. Now, this may not be over here either. Like, you know, there's nothing to say that this can't go high here and then give this correction before we go again. But I am looking for a correction. It's got to give us a larger correction sooner or later. It has to give us something like this, you know, in here before it goes up more. It's going to go up more. So I'm sort of looking at, we're going to get a larger correction in here. If we go down to the daily, we've lost the bullish divergence. We've lost the bearish divergence here. So this may be a flat in here, like for an A, B, C, or it may be this WXY, but we've lost the bearish divergence, so we don't have any bearish divergence at this stage. So if we have a look at the H4, we're looking for this. I'll just remove that. So we're looking for a similar size correction here. So looking for a similar size correction to this over here before we get that Z up. Do you want to trade this C down? Well, it's up to you. It's going to be riskier, but you can make quite a few pips out of that sell. If you get a good sell set up, you can look for that sell. H1, well, we are getting a correction. So yeah, at least get this like A, B, C. So I'd even be looking at the lower time frame, because we have a trend line in here. So maybe go down to the M15. And we have a trend line in here. We've got a little break of this here. A little break of this here. So yeah, if you get a little flag in, look, little flag in here, look for that sell. Yeah. So you can look for that sell. And your target, the first target will be the 100 fib. So this is your first target here. Get something like this. So yeah, look for that sell. SPX, this fell over. I'll go to the daily. So you can see here, we're getting an ABC here. An A, B, C. So ideally we break below this low. It can become contracting. We'll have to see, but we do have to cross down now on the MACD. And we're looking at this as all correction. Like ideally, we get that 50 fib retrade, like I've been saying. Settings. So ideally we get some sort of a larger correction in here before we go. It may be over. We're so last week I was looking for this as the B wave. We still haven't broken this low here, and we have that full hidden divergence. So if this low here holds, you could actually look for that buy for the A, B, C, and then maybe it becomes something more complex and we get another one down, like an A, B, C. We don't know exactly what's going to happen in, but at this stage we got on the H4 we do have that bullish hidden, potential bullish hidden. I'll have a look on the H1. H1 we've got this WXY. Now we don't know, is this the end of wave Y here and all this is correction? It can be. So this can be like an A, B, C up. I dare say we need a correction a similar size to this. So it's going to take a while to build this X2. But then, yeah, I think we'll get one more down. We'll get this Z down to finish off the B wave. Hopefully it doesn't break that low, this low over here. It may just break under here. Whereas you can look for the buy as well, because the hidden divergence isn't confirmed, but you might get the C up. If we go something like this, you have to go down to the lower time frames, wait for the break, little bull flag in here, and you can look for that, you know, to go and break this top here. But it's only going to be a scalp because at this stage I'm still looking at it as a wave X to get before we get that Z down. DXY, sorry, not DXY, the DAX. Like I've been saying for ages on the daily, we've got that bare hidden divergence. So this low may be broken. We may get a break of that low. We've got a big drop down. H4. So we're getting a wave Y. So we can look at this as settings. So we can look at this. So on the H1, looks like we hit that 100 fib. Yeah, we did. So we got that H1, we got that WXY up here, bounced off the 100 fib. This was just sell in here. That would have been a break even. Then you got this was looking nice, but that would have been a break even again. Then you'd have to have taken this to get that big move. Hard to trade. Now we're at a bottom. It's bottoming out. Go back to H4. Move that. I'll move that. So looks like we've bounced off this 161.8. Just try and get this correct. Yeah, so we've bounced off this 161.8 in the wave Y. Where is the wave Y? And down here. Just because it hit the 161.8 doesn't mean that it's over. But it's given us a bounce, so more than likely we will get correction like this over here before we get that Z down. So that's the way I'd be looking at it. Look for that. Wait for the correction and then look for the sell. But this will take, well, probably 2 weeks to complete this wave X. So it won't be much trading going on unless you get a buy set up. You can scalp some buys in the correction. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Take care, and I'll see you out there next week.